The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
Another very special edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host, who comes to you at this time almost every day.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Well, we got things going on everywhere, things shaking left and right, and everybody concerned about actresses going to the big house from the what was the name of that show? From the big house, from the Full House to the big house. I know those jokes are already coming tonight, but who can say? Anyway, enough of a diversion to start the show. We've got a fairly light volume market. In fact, we're only about 3.9 billion shares. In fact, just shy of 3.9 billion shares. So, yeah, we're even behind yesterday, which was a very light volume day. So today, unless something drastically changes by the end of the day, that would be it. Now, after the bell tomorrow night, we have actually the first earnings call of any kind of consideration. We'll talk a little bit about that. Question is whether or not everybody's front running that, whether or not the Fed has maybe put too much juice in the market from the wings and quietly on Wall Street told them all to go hog wild. But I don't know. I have to tell you that we're right back where we were before with the light volume and making higher highs. That's always a danger signal that there's a trap door that can open at any time. What you want is some volume and a sign of strength to let you know that the market's not like a tree that's all been eaten inside by ants, termites, and stuff. First big storm comes up, tree breaks. Oh, tree was hollow. Well, no one knew that. Well, in the market, you do. You know it by volume, whether or not a lot of people are piling in or not. Everybody thinks volume is a scalpel. It's not. It's more like a hammer or a sledgehammer. It's kind of a rough tool, and it takes a little while to figure out that it's not a single day, that you got to have kind of, it's more like kind of watching waves come in and being a surfer. You kind of have to know, hey, that's a good wave, that's not a good wave. And of course, the next wave can be different. You kind of look at it and go, okay, what? One here, 1, 2, 3. There's the big one. 1, 2, 3. There's the big one. So I'll wait for 3, then I'll paddle on out and I'll try to catch that 4th one. And that's kind of what we've got, except up here is just weak. Now, the ones at the volume were weak, at the bottom were weak too. So we can't say that anything other than a lot of pushing at the highs, some pushing at the lows. And of course, one of the things that probably more interesting to me is the zero, I mean, total lack of shorting or put buying or anything. This market is as thin of bears as any other market that I've probably ever seen back into the highs of around 2000. Even in 2007, everybody already kind of knew what was behind the curtain. There were rumors and people talking about it. A little different these days. But again, we didn't even do, 7 billion shares yesterday. It was weak. I think we'll do 6.6 the way it's tracking today. So it's going to be light volume. Now, the question is, do we just hit or wait for that earnings call tomorrow night? And everybody is trying to infer that that's going to be the future of the next earnings cycle. I do not know, but it does seem like we're way out over the tips of our skis in the market today. Give me a call at 877-927-6648. Put an email in there for me at path, P-A-T-H, at TFNN.com. And, of course, you can always put a message in the den, which is great. What else do we have going on out here? Let's take a quick look at the dollar. And, of course, kind of came off that 97 level, back down to 96.70. Doesn't look that strong to me. Does look like we're going to kind of hang in there a little bit. When we look at oil, a nice little pop today, up about 2%. Again, we've talked about how this is a fairly strong time for oil and gasoline, mostly because everybody's turning everything off for a few weeks as the rollover from summer or winter to summer gasoline formulas go. It kind of backs all up. I think a lot of traders get way ahead also in this market because of that. It will come back on with some fury. But the thought is that if there is some kind of problem with supply, and it happens now, this is the worst time for it to happen. That would be it. Now, funny enough, there are a lot of studies that show that the winter-summer formulations don't do diddly squat. And we probably should get rid of them. That would take about 4 weeks of those sites being shut down. And maybe a good thing. May mean that they actually do the service that they're supposed to and not let them blow up. But you never know. Gold up almost 11 bucks, 13.09. Silver's up almost 5 cents at $15.46. And of course, what I was really interested in was the weakness in Asia Pacific. Fairly decent looking numbers in Europe, but everything was down fairly strongly in Asia Pacific. Question is whether or not we get another down day tomorrow on it. It certainly looks like the weakest of the three big geographic areas right now. But even Australia was down 0.2%. Not a huge day down, but weakness nonetheless. Nikkei was off almost a full percent. The HSI was off almost 0.4%. And, of course, everything in Europe kind of up, which is interesting with all the brouhaha they've got going over there. DAX was up 0.4. CAC, the French one, up almost 0.7%. The AEX, 7%. And the stocks, almost up 0.75%. So in world markets, we got some a real split. And of course, the one that really matters is mostly those Asian markets. So I was kind of actually interested to see the split. The dollar coming down, I think a lot of people are chasing that, but we will see. It certainly is not showing up in the volumes where, as I said, we don't have even 4 billion shares yet. So anyway, we'll be back after this short timeout. I shall return. We'll do a little history. We'll get into some charts. We're going to have some fun today.
The TAS Profile Scanner is the most revolutionary piece of trading software that you will ever try. Wouldn't you like to approach the markets with confidence? As you begin your trading day, it's likely that you'll be faced with lots of decisions. In order to make the best decision, the first thing you'll need is a strategy that will help you minimize your risks. Whether we're in a bull or bear market, a good strategy is to have the tools needed to help you scan and analyze the markets before you trade. The TAS Profile Scanner instantly scans and filters over 2,500 global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, president of TAS Market Profile, the TAS Profile Scanner understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications, automated trading algorithms, and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. Whether you're looking at the trade matrix, the ETF heat grid, the market breadth, the landscape charts, or the many other features of the TAS Profile Scanner, this is a piece of software that will revolutionize how you look at the markets and set up your trades. The team at TAS has even put together a 12-part video series to walk you through every aspect of the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find directly on the TAS order page at TFNN.com. Sign up now for only $97 a month with a risk-free 30-day trial, so you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. See for yourself how you can harness the full power of the TAS Profile Scanner by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services section. Remember, with a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Don't let another day pass you by without trying out this amazing piece of software that will revolutionize how you look at the market and how you place trades. Sign up today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
In 1986, a year that actually existed. 10 years after the company's founding, Microsoft Corporation goes public at $21 a shortly after the opening. Said that the rising value of Microsoft stock has made an estimated 4 billionaires and 12,000 millionaires in Microsoft employees. If you expand that to the other companies that actually made money off of making software and hardware for Microsoft, you can expand that to about 15 billionaires and about 150,000 millionaires. You have to probably say that Bill Gates and his band of jolly computer savvy programmers were responsible for more prosperity than probably any single individual in all time. Kind of funny that a lot of people never believed in trickle down, but you have to look at the well, maybe even 200,000 total millionaires and 15 billionaires, and all the people that they bought houses from. It's a ripple effect, and everybody always says they don't believe in trickle down, but my God, could you imagine that that didn't happen? I know a lot of people are kind of looking for reasons why things didn't work out for them or others. But if someone says that Bill Gates didn't pay his first or his fair share, I don't understand it. The guy actually probably responsible for more tax dollars ever than the even on based on a percentage than anyone else ever in the United States. But again, if you would have held $10,000 worth of Microsoft stock in 1986, when it blew up in 2000, if you would have sold on New Year's, just before the New Year's or even the day after, that $10,000 would have been worth about $1.5 million. $21 what? A share. That's what it was. It went for $21 a share when it went public in 1986. It's a shining example of capitalism and how it makes most people better. And what else can you say? Got a question that we'll go to first, and that is NVIDIA buying Mellanox, the Israeli company. And we'll take a quick look at NVIDIA. I talked a little bit about this on Monday. Now, maybe you missed it, NVIDIA. The reason that Microsoft or NVIDIA bought this company was that they wanted to have something that would smooth out their earnings. You don't want a one-legged stool. At least NVIDIA has kind of two legs. They have their video graphics card business, and of course the processor business for a lot of smartphones. What they wanted to do is go one step further and have a chip manufacturing and design company in-house that also dealt with other folks, so that they could take all that stuff that they're doing for smartphones and even into the server business and make custom applications in not only firmware, but actually in the hardware itself. So it's good for them. For the money that they've got, they could have done a lot of silly things like buy back shares. This actually just smooths out earnings by giving them one more leg to their stool. In business management, especially in technology, they kind of talk a lot about that three-legged stool or even a four-legged stool for the model in your business. Like Microsoft had the operating system, they have all the software they sell, they have services, they now have websites, web services, cloud services, that kind of stuff. It's nice to have a lot of different businesses so that when one has trouble, maybe the rest come to the rescue and smooth things out, especially for big-time investors who do not like the troughs and the drops in the market. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. That was from Larry. But yeah, they spent a lot of money. What was it, $8 billion and something? Outbid Intel, because Intel really didn't need it as much as NVIDIA did. But that's it. Let's take a quick look at Intel. INTC. I haven't thought much about this company other than it was probably going up because of the new CEO. He'll cut costs, but he's probably not going to spend money. My guess is that the old CEO would have ended up with Mellanox. But it's up. Again, we're breaking above a lot of previous highs in a lot of stocks today. We'll go through some of those, but not a lot of juice for many of them. You've got about 13 million shares today in Intel, going up an 18 million share July 24th high of last year with 18 million shares. And this is right where we start getting into a lot of resistance. I thought maybe $55 for Intel. Maybe we see that tomorrow. And again, getting a CFO in the short term always makes investors happy because they know that someone's watching the dollar and cents. But those investors generally are looking to a point where they can sell and distribute the stock with a CFO becomes the CEO. And that is because there's very little chance of extended upside. Take a look at Apple. And not a lot of stuff came out after Steve Jobs died that ever made a dent or even a wiggled the needle at all. I guess no one's really used to needles anymore, are they? Is that just something that I grew up with the gas gauges that were never quite accurate? Now they seem to be rather accurate and don't bounce around a lot. They kind of average out, which is another reason for it. Anyway, up today, there was another one that I was watching. ADBE. Adobe, another one in a lot of these stocks that are breaking above previous highs. You were looking for 8.7 billion shares on that one to go through the October 17th high. That's 261.89. What do we have? We've got about 2 billion or 2 million shares right now. So about a fourth of the volume. Again, we're going to go through more of these, but there just isn't a whole lot of volume out here at the highs. We're going to go to the break, but like a famous general from World War II, I shall return.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. We were talking about Adobe and some other ones. Did we do our history? Yeah, we did our history. And we've got another half hour to go. So I'm back in the ball game. Get my head back in here. Up 26 points on the S&P cash, up 1%. Let's check that volume. Well, we finally cracked a little bit of volume here in the last 10 minutes. 4.15 billion shares. So still fairly quiet on the Western Front. Generally, when we were up in this area before, we were looking for 9 or 10 billion shares and just never got it. And that's when we rotated back down last week. they tried to get as many people short as they could, but as they push it up there, they just didn't get that many shorts, and it's holding up here now. Don't know whether the people on Wall Street are expecting some kind of good news, and they're holding the market up here to sell into it, or if this market is just up and they thought people would jump in back at the highs. But certainly volume seems to be rather lax at best. Yeah, okay. I don't know about that. Let's do this. See what else is going on. How many votes would a no deal Brexit get? Today's problem one. Okay. Not much going on there. I got another question about Boeing and whether or not there's anything going on there that we need to pay attention to. As I said yesterday, the FBI sent their finest. Yes, Fox Mulder, Dana Scully, to go check it out. The black boxes were sent last night into Europe to get downloaded. So we should have something fairly quickly. They're not kind where they have to spend a week pulling them apart like they used to. They're pretty much all electronic now. And the way that they're all set up, if you haven't seen one of the new ones, is that the chips can actually break apart, but not break themselves. So sometimes they have to move them onto new holders if the outside box was damaged enough. But they can take 2,000 Gs, 2,000 times gravity when they crash. And of course, they're in the tail of the airplane, so last to impale themselves into the earth. So generally, that should, I mean, they were designed to take a 500-mile-an-hour direct hit 90 degrees into the planet. So they should be okay. Shouldn't be a big problem what's going on that. Boeing is going to be setting a new software update the 10th of April. They may push that a little bit already. And again, you're down, but certainly don't have the kind of volume you had yesterday. Let's take a look at it. And of course, all day long, we're waiting for yet someone else to say that they are not liking Boeing and going to get everything off of it. It hadn't really hurt the market that much. 360, let's call it 366 right now on Boeing, down about another 2%, but not as bad as 7%. Now, we're going to know probably by Friday at the latest. We may even know tonight when they start reading the voice cockpit recorder. They can also stick that into a machine that's in Europe and follow exactly what happened with the plane. So at least they'll have a good idea what's going to happen. But very interesting that the plane was smoking before it went down. Generally, electronics, if they was like the previous accident, doesn't sound like they can blow up engines with electronics like that or other issues. If it was smoking and spitting flames out, that generally says a bomb, or you hit something in the air like birds or a bird strike. They were coming back, and it's unclear what happened. And of course, people on the ground said it was making sounds. And of course, Boeing's avionics are not going to make sounds that people can hear on the ground. So at least the preliminary data makes me think that a lot of people may have made a error in blaming Boeing right off the bat. Now, one of the interesting things is with that new software update that comes out early April for those planes, they've gone through literally every line of the code that's in that stall warning section. And they really didn't find much in the way of things that could go wrong. And again, nothing's completely foolproof to a sufficiently talented fool. And when you automate things, if you got people that do things that you don't expect them to do, that's always been my issue with Tesla and a couple other companies like Apple. who all thought that they were going to have some kind of artificial intelligence and wave a wand over everything, and suddenly everything was going to work perfectly for self-driving cars. I think really what we're learning in Boeing is just what do we have in Boeing for automated technology? 30 years, probably 1980. They started putting in automatic landing systems and other things. So we got almost 40 years into that. These things take a lot of time. And kind of interesting that Apple actually fired all its people in its self-driving part of its business, which I thought was interesting. And that, I don't think that's why this is going up. I think that a lot of people did get short why Apple was going sideways from about the early part, first week of February to about the 7th of March. Now it's gapped back up on some rather very dubious upgrades for the company. A lot of promises about what's going to happen next year, not this year. And especially with their lack of any kind of 5G handset, it's very tough for me to figure out why a lot of people would be going long here, other than the fact that a lot of people got short in Apple and they ran them out. And the history of being short is being wrong several times modestly, and then being right one time very large, generally, in these big stocks. But again, I'm not a big fan of shorting Boeing or Apple or any of these other stocks that have great money in the bank, that have lots of orders. Even if Apple's headed back down, it's probably going to be headed down modestly. Same thing with Boeing. You know, whatever's wrong with it, probably going to be fixed within 2 weeks, if not a problem already, some other issue that we're unfamiliar with. But that's it. I got an email here. What else could be wrong? In an airplane? Well, they could have had a lot of, they could have had a bunch of hazardous freight on the plane that took out the avionics bay. If you're unfamiliar how those big jets are all set up, they've got a avionics bay below for the pilot to sit, and that's right next and butted up against the freight. So if you blow something up in the freight, you can take out all your aviation equipment. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the Tax Opportunity Zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we're back. And maybe we'll see a little weakness off of Boeing. It's going down a little bit more, but still 2.5%. Nothing compared to the 7% to 10% that they had yesterday. But we're at there. 28.16, 28.17 on the S&P cash, which is up 25 points. The Dow still up 115. NASDAQ up 76. We'll keep an eye on that. Okay, I'm watching a couple other things going on, so I may be a little distracted. But I don't know what to believe. Somebody was asking me in the email here. I know a couple of pilots, plus one that's on YouTube that flies them, and he says that he's never experienced any problem. I hear people always doing it, but, a lot of times people just say stuff, and you never know. Like I said yesterday, it's going to take probably a little while till we really know, but they did get the boxes and black boxes to it, so probably should know something today. If they are actually grounding the planes, I would expect that they found something on them. But that means if they found it, they can probably fix it. Well, the good news is if you missed Boeing, then you'll be able to buy it back. Look at Facebook. Facebook actually did it and did it with malice, and they're back to all close to highs. What's Mr. Facebook doing? Up just a little. No volume, but the rest of this is basically the whole market is back to where it was a couple of weeks ago, where it's making previous highs on light volume. On this case, it gapped down on the 4th of September last year with 30 million shares. We're pushing that up today with 7.5 million shares. So again, a lot of these companies just run out of gas up at these highs and nothing much happened. Got a question to take a quick look at Netflix. Okay. And it's just going sideways. What you dislike is to get to all-time highs and then see a stock go sideways, because that's almost always distribution, especially with light volume. And Netflix certainly looks like a lot of it. It's not quite up to the previous June 21st high, but going sideways. I've always thought that Netflix probably also was selling the sizzle and quite not the steak. And the expenses that we saw, it kind of actually went down from what? 360 to about 325, something like that. What was that back on that big earnings jag that it had? And was it 380? Okay, when was that? Maybe that's it right there. 354 down to 321. So that was the earnings date. That was the 18th of January. So it didn't really do that bad, but it's gone back up. Of course, higher than the previous high and just gone soft sideways. Again, the only reason I'd be more interested in shorting this is that they really don't have a monopoly. There's going to be a lot of these companies in this business. It's like saying, oh, only one person could have made movies. Probably in the long term, there's going to be a lot of competition. They certainly, in the short term, have it. I just think that they're spending way too much money overseas making movies for countries that probably don't have the population to actually support Netflix, nor the infrastructure to actually watch it. If you're in China, you got about 250 million people that could watch it, which is actually a fairly decent market. But it's not like saying, okay, I got 1.3 billion people in China and they can all watch it. About 250 million of them actually have a fairly decent income, which is not a small market, but it's not what a lot of times in the industry I run from that they call TAM, which is total addressable market. Okay. Someone asked me what bothers me when I fly. It's people that won't wear shoes, loud people that think I should listen to their conversations if they're on the phone. Can't we just all be quiet, sit down there? Maybe you can talk to the people next to you if they actually do want to talk to you. Most of the time, I'm kind of sociable, but most of the time people don't want to talk to anybody. But, I'll give it a try, but I don't belabor the point. I remember the all-time rudest guy I ever sat next to. Actually, he was right behind me. And he was basically berating this girl the entire flight, well, half the flight, about why she shouldn't eat meat. And I finally stood up, undid my seatbelt, stood up, turned around, and I said, shut up. Everybody around in this plane can hear you. Everybody knows you're a vegetarian or a vegan or whatever. We don't want to hear it anymore. Everybody applauded. That may have been my best, not my best, but maybe my 1 or 2 or 3 best days ever. You just don't want to hear it, do you? Anyway, it's nice that he's a vegetarian, but can you just shut up about it? I think that's my thought in there. I don't really care if you don't eat meat, but why do I have to listen to you blab on about it? Well, anyway, I got almost a standing ovation. Probably would have been if everybody wasn't in the seat buckled up. Anyway, Netflix going sideways, and that was it. I always remember that. I flew a little over 2.25 million miles. But I probably still have some miles somewhere to spend on going and flying somewhere. I'll have to check to see. Normally now, you just can't ever use them. They're always booked up. But that and I remember I was going to Las Vegas when a passenger died, and they dragged him by me up to the cockpit and stuck him in the jump seat in the cockpit. And when I was sitting in the first row of first class, because I'd used my upgrade miles, and as the co-pilot was dragging the guy under the arms all the way front, he had a massive coronary and instantly died. So there was no saving him. So the cockpit's an English guy, and as he's dragging him up to the cockpit door, this is before 2001, so you could just open it up. Wasn't even locked, I don't think. He looked over at me and said, "I hope you didn't have the fish," which I thought was funny, real English humor. But the guy next to me filed a complaint, and I actually had to give testimony on whether or not the co-pilot should be sacked. I thought it was, well, what else can you say about it? My adventures flying. Netflix, as we said, just going sideways. Let's take a quick look at Amazon. Okay. We'll look at Amazon when we come back. Oh, we only have one more segment. Don't know about that. Show's just going too fast. That was the end. Okay, we'll be back in a minute.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Anyway, last question about Amazon. And like I said, a lot of these stocks have popped back up. The most bearish thing you can see right now is, with all this light volume, is a close under the 9-day moving average or a 3x3 displaced moving average. Either one of those are going to come up. I like the 3-day displaced moving average. That's just taking, if you wanted to look at it the last 6 days, you do 3 days, the first 3 days, and then put them off 3 days into the future, and that gives you a trend line to see how the stock's reacting to at least the momentum part of the trade. And you know, you had your 3 days underneath it on Amazon. Now you've got 2 days above it, and the next close below it would be what a lot of people would say is the trigger to say that that would go down. So you probably are talking about next Monday or Tuesday. Although you may have, if you had some other technical indicators to pull the trigger, you might just do that and say, hey, I'm going to wait for it to see how it does when it does go against that 9-day or 3x3 displaced moving average. So that looks at that one. Someone wanted me to look at Microsoft before the end of the show. Again, just back up to previous highs. You've got 16 million shares going up into this high. You're now to 72 cents away from that October 3rd high. My guess is that you are going to challenge that tomorrow. I thought the more bullish thing would be for Microsoft to come back down to 100 and challenge it on light volume. You never got that. This is the last big stock to hit the highs. And of course, after the bell tomorrow night, we've got the first, what I would say, even potentially market moving earnings report out. So we'll be watching that for the next day. Anyway, in the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We will see you tomorrow.